Hi, my name is Tiago Rocha and I would like to welcome you to the Cookproof channel. On today's how-to video, I'll be covering all the names and parts of the kite and bar and a bit of what it's used for. Kitesurfers often talk in a strange language, with terms that are not common at all, but often don't know or remember some basic terminology that it's important when we discuss tricks or other technical issues. So to better understand the lingo, let's go over the essential kite and bar terminology and some common misconceptions. If you didn't have a chance before and you'd like my videos, show me some appreciation by clicking the subscribe button, liking the video, and dropping a comment on these videos. Let's check if you all know the names of all the 28 parts of the kite and bar and what they're for. Pause the image and see if you know them all before I talk about them. At the end, I'll post the same picture with the correct answers, but don't skip to the end just yet. First of all, we have the leash and the leash quick release. The leash should be connected to the front of the harness with the quick release part closest to the harness in order to be close at hand in case it's necessary to use it. Do not connect in the back as it's very hard to reach in case of need. Then, on the other end, the leash should connect on the small ring of the safety line, if there's one. The bigger ring can be used to do unhook tricks without losing the ability to release in case of need, but allowing you to do your trick without accidental releases all the time. Kite is connected to your harness by using the chicken loop. This connection can be released in case of need by activating the quick release. The majority of the quick release systems are push-away ones, and for ease of use and standardization, they should all be like that, in order to make sure the chicken loop doesn't fall out of the hook. Accidentally, you have a lock finger that holds it in place, also known as chicken finger or donkey dick. But this term is not children friendly, so lock finger is more descriptive and better to use. Then we have the bar that is used to control the kite. It has a middle hold for the line and has a grip, so you get a hold of the bar. Usually the bar has a left side in red and the other side with a different color. This is like this to help you find the correct bar side when you lose contact with the bar, and can also be used to check if you have the right of way or not. This should be an industry standard, but unfortunately there are a couple of brands that still don't use this. On the bar tip, we have the bar winders. These are used to wind the lines and pack them after each section. From there you have some rubbery parts that is called a floater. It is there to make sure your bar floats when it's in the water. Otherwise it could sink and get attached to any obstacle that existed underwater if you release the kite, and this could lead to potential powering up of the kite. To these floaters a thicker line is connected. These lines are called pre-lines or leader lines and are thicker so that we can use them to relaunch the kite or other things that might require that we touch the lines. Thinner ones are not good for us to touch as they can cut when in tension. The flying lines connect to the pre-lines. These are called backlines or steering lines as they are used to steer the kite and connect to the back of the kite. For ease of reference, let's call them backlines. On the end of them, they have a lark's head loop that connects to the pigtail that is on the kite positioned on the trailing edge of the kite. On the kite, we have the leading edge that is inflated using a pump. The pump valve is generally located in the center of the kite. We can have 2 points, one for inflating and one bigger one for deflating, or a double action valve that has a cap for inflation and a valve for deflation. There are some few different ones around that are not helpful, either making you have to have a right pump at the beach instead of using a standard connection. Also near the connection you will find a kite pump connection point to connect the leash of the pump to the kite. Majority, if not all the kites, use a single inflation system called the one pump that fills up not only the leading edge but also the struts that give the wireframe to the kite. On the kite between the struts, you have the kite canopy, made of ripstop polyester. The ripstop polyester is a fabric that has some filaments that are thicker woven into it that helps to stop the kite from ripping. The kite tip usually is more stiff and made out of different material called dacron. This is the same material that's on the leading edge of the kite. Connected to the leading edge, you have the bridles that are some spiderweb type of lines, thicker and in a lark's head loop that connects to the pigtails that are on the flying lines, also known as power lines. For ease of use, let's call them front lines. If you notice the connection between the kite and the bar lines, it's done by pigtails and lark's head loops. In the front lines we have pigtails, the back ones have lark's head loops, and the opposite is on the kite. This is called cook-proof connections, as in the beginning often people connected the kites incorrectly and that caused a lot of problems, as it wasn't safe. So the industry made a standard to have connections that the most novice couldn't go wrong. This is where we got our name from, as the name stopped being used by the brands as all of them have it. However, the combo can be different from brand to brand, but they will match with their kite having this as a feature. The front line can have and should have a stopper to make sure that when you activate the kite safety, the bar doesn't go all the way to the kite. In order to do a self-rescue properly and safely, you need this feature. Also, the safety should be a right one. The distance of the stopper should be at least one kite span, so if you use one bar for all kites, make sure the distance set for your biggest kite. The brand that puts a stopper always takes as reference their biggest kite, so you can use the bar with all of them. Some brands use a stopper ball, but some use just a loop-to-loop connection to make the stopper. This is for me the best and cleanest solution, as it doesn't make the line bulkier. There is only a few brands that use sectioned lines with loop-to-loop connection, but this is for me a great feature, as you can change the line length and take more advantages of the kite. For teaching, this is imperative in order to properly teach you by gradually increasing the line length according to your progression and need for more power. This stopper, when used, gets stopped at the second stopper. That is the hole where the lines slide through, that is located near the trim strap. Then we have the power trim. That is often called depower trim also. The problem is that we use depower line for the first line that follows it and often say to do depower. This can be confusing. Depower is an action when decrease the power of the kite and not one specific part. So for ease of use, let's call it power trim that we use to adjust the depower capability, and center line. By moving the bar up, we can depower the kite. Hope we have covered the majority of the names and usages of the kite and bar, so that when we use it in the future, you are aware of what we are talking about. Hope you like these videos and it's helpful for you to remember what you have learned on your lessons. All these names are important, as they will be used during your lessons. And I strongly recommend you to take lessons and use these videos to add to your knowledge. See you on the next video.